Hey, John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com. So I've got a question about motivation. I frequently get questions around this because sometimes it's hard to stay motivated. So this question is from Jason, and Jason says, "Hi, John. Thank you for creating your videos on YouTube. I feel more motivated after listening to your advice. One thing I have a question about is where did you get your drive and motivation to succeed in your career and life in general? Did you get your inner drive from positive reinforcement growing up, or did you teach yourself to be positive and expect the best out of your career and life? One big issue I'm facing right now is that I'm feeling stuck in a job where I'm not learning anything new or relevant. I feel as though I'm just going to work to make money and that I don't have any real valuable skills. That's not really a good feeling. After years of experience, my salary is still not that high. I don't think that it's due to not wanting to succeed, but I do see a difference between the drive you have and the drive I have. I've been learning iOS programming in the spare time, and I'm working on building apps with the hope that a portfolio of apps will land me an iOS position. I don't really network with people at all, which is likely one big reason why I'm not moving up in my career. I think this all comes back to motivation and inner drive. What makes you want to go through obstacles/issues to succeed when times get tough? I'm hoping I'm not coming across too negative. I'm just going through a bit of a hard time and need some help. Thanks, Jason." So Jason, you're not coming off too negative. I don't think, and I'd like to help you. So let me start by talking about like where my motivation and drive comes from. Like to answer your first question, where did I get it? Do you think that it came from positive reinforcement growing up? I definitely had some positive reinforcement growing up and some negative reinforcement growing up. So I wouldn't really attribute it to that. I would say that part of my drive and motivation, it's almost like a self-created thing, like that I one day decided that I wanted to not live a mediocre life, that I wanted to achieve things, and so I sort of push myself. And as I push myself, I discovered that my motivation dropped off. In fact, I've talked about this a few times. But what I find is that in general, when you do things, you're motivated at first, right? You have this passion for a thing, you're motivated, and that almost always drops off, right? And so people who become really good at things or excel, to the outside world, they appear to be super motivated and driven. And driven they are, but motivated, not always. I was just listening to an audiobook by Seth Godin, which was one of his talks, and he was talking about this artist who was basically saying that that motivation is unnecessary, that you just do. And that's sort of the philosophy of life that I've taken, is that I realize that motivation comes and goes, and you can't rely on motivation, right? You have to sort of have this inner drive. You have to like look and see where you want to get, and you think about it and you plan it out, and then you just execute, and you get there. And you wake up in the morning, a lot of times, and you don't feel like doing anything. You don't feel like going to the gym. You don't feel like working on your career. You don't feel like shooting YouTube videos or whatever it is, right? You don't feel like writing a blog post, but you go and you do it anyway. And a lot of people say, well, that's inauthentic. Well, that's not my art, man. That's not how things work. But when you look at like a lot of great writers, a lot of really successful people, that's exactly what they did. I just read that Isaac Asimov, right? He wrote 400 novels. He woke up every morning at the crack of dawn and wrote till 12 p.m. every day. Do you think he was motivated every single day to do that? No, he wasn't. There's no way. You can't stay that motivated. You look at these people that are super successful and you think that must be what's going on. And it's not true at all. So to bring it back kind of to your situation, what would I say here? Well, you gotta set up a plan. And you have to just execute on that plan without feeling this need to be motivated, right? You've got to be able to separate out, doing your planning. You should be motivated when you're planning, like you have goals that you want to achieve, and then you have to go through and do the execution of those things to get there. And sometimes it's going to be painful, and if the road weren't hard, right, then so many people would be successful and do it. And I've talked about this a lot of times before because it's so true. So you should kind of be thankful that this is hard, that it's difficult, that it's not an easy path, because it makes it possible. If everyone could do it, then we wouldn't have these opportunities. So sometimes when things are hard, I thank I'm thankful that I have this opportunity to do something that's really hard, that I don't feel motivated today, because I know that other people, my competition, is out there, and some of them are gonna hit the snooze button, and they just got dropped out of the race, and I'm gonna keep going forward. And that in itself, maybe you could call that motivation, but I would call that drive. And so that's how you have drive, and that's really what the difference is. And things are gonna come and go. One thing that I would recommend to you is, I talk about this a lot too, but Stoic philosophy. Go and read Seneca's letters on his letters on morality. He's from ancient Rome, and he's a Stoic philosopher, and he's got some really, really good stuff to say that sort of talks about this kind of thing, about doing things not because you're motivated, but because you're driven, because you know that you want to achieve some goal, and being able to not be subject to fate, right? So forget about what's happening outside of you. You can control internally what you do. You're in control of yourself. So focus on those things that you can control. So anyway, a little bit of a long answer here, Jason, but hopefully this is helpful to you. It's probably not the answer that you want to hear, right? So unfortunately, this is reality, right? You've got to, everyone that I know of that's achieved great things has forced themselves to go through it. When you look back at them and you see their highlight reel, it looks like they're motivated and driven and all this. But I think especially if you look at professional athletes, you'll find a different story. You'll find that they trudged through it, that they grinded it out to some degree, and that they made it because other people weren't willing to do the work that they were willing to do. So thanks again, Jason. If you've got a question, email me at john@simpleprogrammer.com, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take care.